Organizing your work and tasks isn't always easy. There are many distractions, and we often feel pressure to multitask. But with a consistent system in place, your work life will become much better. I will show you how to build your own task management system. Check it out. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Zach Stevenson. I'm a business process and no-code consultant. If you need help streamlining or automating any of your business processes, you can visit our website, innerdevsolutions.com, or you can click the link in the description below to book a free consult. I'm going to show you how to build this task management system using a tool called SmartSuite. If you do not have a SmartSuite account already, there is a link in the description below to get started. From there, you can create a free account. It will handle a lot of your individual task management needs on the free plan for a really long time. From there, the best place to start is to keep things really simple until you learn what works for you in your process, and then you can make changes and iterate from there to enhance the system altogether. But to start, there's really only a few field types or columns that you need. I will start there. Let's dive in. So once you've signed into your SmartSuite account, you can go into add a new solution and we can create from scratch. This is what the original solution will look like. You can go up here and we can name this whatever we want, and you can change the color, and you have a whole bunch of different logos and icons to choose from. From here, we can just rename this table to tasks. We can change this to task as well. And then from here, we can build out the rest of our task management system. We're going to keep this really simple. As I mentioned previously, we're just going to have one table just called tasks, and we can start from here. First thing I want to do, I'm going to remove this assigned to. I'm building this for myself and only me. I don't need that assigned to. If you want, you can leave priority, due date, and status. Those are all fine. And then over here, we can just change this to task. And I'll remove those two options. We remove the comments, and then this is good enough to get started. If we go into this field to display, we'll have a description here. And if we want, we can leave it as description, or we can change it to task details as well. And this is simply a Smart Docs field type. You can see here it says Smart Doc. You can add other Smart Doc field types throughout the system if you wanted. But basically what that will allow you to do is it works as a document editor. So think Google Docs or a Word document, a little bit more simplified, built right within your solution here, and more specifically within that specific record. And a record is going to be a task within your system. First thing we're going to do is continue building out all of the fields and columns that we need, and then we can dive into how to actually use the tool and what it can look like. So we have task name here. That's fine. We have our task details where we can add additional information. We have priority. If we double click into this is a single select, and here's our various priorities. If we want to be able to categorize our task by priority, we can. Essentially, once we have the record in here, we'll be able to click the button and choose the priority. This is similar to a single select, but it's separate. It's called a status. And then from there, we can select the various statuses on that specific task. If it's to do or in process, this ready for review, we probably don't need that. We likely keep it really simple, just backlog or to do, in process, and complete. And then you can select your default. Probably makes most sense to have this to do. Update that field, and then due date. This is just a date field type as well. If I click into it, it will give us a date selector. But if we want to add a due date for a specific task to track, we can. A couple of other things. If we wanted to, we could add a start date and end date within this. I'm not going to add that, but you do have that option as well. And one other thing I want to add in here is a time tracking log. I'll add this field, and within the record, we can click a button and it will track the amount of time that we've been working on that task, so that we can track and log our hours directly within this system, if that's something that you need to do. Again, depending on your needs, if you need to categorize your various tasks, we can add in another single select field type. We could change this to category. And we could do things like internal or external, or by the type. So if it's marketing, operations, sales, any type of category that you want to add to your records, you can do that. And there's a files and images, any attachment that you would like to add to the specific record, you can do that as well if that's important. So I'll just add this files and images field type in as well. And if you click this plus button, there's a lot of different field types that are available within SmartSuite that you can add to your task management solution, depending on your exact needs. But this is probably enough to get started. Again, find it's best to keep things simple and then make changes as time progresses and you learn more about your system. From here, now that we have each of our fields set up, we go in, you can add your task name. I'm just going to label it task 1. And if you expand this, you can see here's your document editor. So you can have your different text styles and headings. And you can style your text with bold and italics, and so on. And if you hit the slash icon, there is, or slash key, this model pops up and you have a lot of different options to add additional information and structure your text and your notes however you need within this. Just close this out, save it. And then we have your priority. Again, this is a drop down. You can add that, the status, to do and process complete. You can select your due date. If our due date is May, show us there's 17 days remaining till the end of May. And if we click back into that for a moment, you can see here, if you want to, you can add a start. If we want to schedule it for next Monday, the 20th, we can select that and it needs to be completed by the following Friday. We can add that in there as well. And we can see the due date range here has the start date and the end date. Another thing, we go into this fields to display, we can actually extract the start date and the end date into separate fields if that's something that's useful for you. So if you go to the fields to display here, click this plus icon on the due date, and we can add start date and end date. And you can see here that those dates have been extracted for us. And then if we want to, we can easily change just the one date within the due date and the end date. So let's say this starts a little bit later. We can start this on the Wednesday and leave it to be due on the Friday. Log, you can hit this play button and you can see the timer will start counting up for us. And when the task ends or completed it or stopped working on it for that period of time, you just hit the stop button here or up here and it will log the time accordingly. Still going to display 0 minutes, but once you hit 1 minute, 1 hour, and so on, it will display that information in line here. If you click this drop down and then the drop down here, you can see that I just logged 13 seconds in between 8:47 in this case on May 14th. And if you click into it further, you can edit the entry to change the amount of time if required. You can add additional notes or change the date if you forgot to log some time from, say, yesterday or previous days in the past. And you can also add time manually as well. Here's this plus icon. So we can go in here, and if there's 30 minutes that we need to log, we can go in and select 30 minutes, click add time, and it will show up here for us. Category works just like this priority field. It's a single select field. Select the category that we want to assign to it. Again, you don't have to. Keep it as simple as possible is always best. Files and images, it's just an attachment field. You can click the plus icon and you can upload different files. You can link to different URLs. You can link to your Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever other integration is available here. So you can add multiple files, attachments, and images to a record in line. So that's how you add data to your task management system. From here, there's ways to structure this to keep your views neatly organized. This is considered a view is what we're looking at. And I can duplicate and create multiple types of views. And a view is essentially just the way that your data displays. So if I duplicate this view and if I change, so I'm in this grid view copy, I change this task 2 and I flip back to this original grid view, you can see it shows task 2. All the data remains the same. It's just simply the way that the information is displayed to you. If I go to grid view copy, let's change this to group by status. And then I can go up to here. We'll group by the status. I'm going to add another task. By default, it's going to add this to do. But we'll just do As before, change this to in process, and you can see here now it has grouped accordingly. So this is the way that you can display your information in different formats to be able to separate what is to be done, what you're currently working on, what's complete. You can group by any type of field here, and you can actually group by multiple fields. You can use this filter at the top to filter out information that you don't want to see or records that you don't want to see. And there's a lot of different options using your sort and filter and group fields across the top here. And then also, if you go in, we can create new views. So there's other views that we can use as well, such as calendar view. It will log these tasks on a calendar for you. We go in here, we can see task 2 is scheduled from the 22nd to the 24th. And if we click into it, we can see all of the information within that record. And then there's a couple other options I want to show you. There's this Kanban view. We'll go in, create view, and it will show up like this. This is being sorted by or categorized by the operation or by the category we've created, but we can select which column we want it to group. So maybe we want to do it by status. So we can see here what's to do, in process, and complete. You can sort by date fields. And again, all of this information is the same within each table. It's just the way the information is actually displayed to you. So last thing, if I flip back to our original grid view, and if I drag the start date back to front, I change the start date of this task to the 31st, or let's actually even change it to the 2nd of May. Right now, if I add additional tasks, it won't do a sort for us. So you can tell that our start date's out of order. So if we wanted, we can either right click and sort, or we can go up to sort here, select our start date, and then sort it in order based off of the date. There's lots of different ways to organize your data, be able to view your data, to keep your system and your task management solution organized. SmartSuite provides us with a lot of different functionality to organize our task management solution and to be able to view our records and tasks in whatever way works best for us. Common theme here is keep things very simple to start. Just add in the information that is truly required to be able to complete your task and then build from there. As you go on, you'll learn what works for you, what doesn't, and you'll also learn more about the system and what it can actually provide and the functionality that's available to you. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tutorials in the future.